And we should
We are
be live.
Hi,
Are we
guys.
actually live?
I don't know. We're going to carry on as if we are.
I'll let you introduce.
Sure, I'll introduce. Hey guys, most of you will probably know us for Steve and Sam Maritime, created the Home Business Class, and I can hear weird noises coming across the microphone. I don't know
Everyone can hear us.
Can you hear?
That's very strange.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool.
That sounds like someone's scrunching up some paper or something in the background.
That's really weird.
Sorry if you can hear that, guys. I promise it's not us.
It's Be Live.
It's Be Live, yeah. It seems to have settled down. So welcome. Anyway, what we're doing is welcome to Tribe Chat. We've got a wonderful guest with us today, Miss Leona Burton. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Leona, if that's all right, because we'd love to hear a little bit about your story.
Of course.
So, you know what? In the interest of keeping things nice and succinct, why don't we just kick off with that? Tell us about why you're a big deal, because you are a big deal.
You are a big deal, absolutely.
Tell us about what you
Oh, no pressure or anything.
No pressure at all.
None at all.
No pressure. Okay. Okay. So firstly, thank you so much for having me. I feel very, very honoured to be here. I haven't spent a lot of time in your group because I have been exceptionally busy for the last 2 years. But who am I? I'm Leona Burton. I'm co-founder of a company called Mums in Business Association, which started as a Facebook group. We just wanted to provide specifically mums at the time an environment where they were able to share authentically and without fear of judgment. I think that was the most important thing for us.
Yeah.
So it's all right. I thought my gardener was coming in. Seriously, as you do.
It would happen on a live. Yeah, everyone comes on.
I honestly, if you know me, you'll know my lives are regularly interrupted by one child or another. So I'm a mum of 5. Hence why I'm often interrupted by one child. Oh yeah, absolutely. So we created Mums in Business Association 24 months ago, and we've gone on to create 95 best-selling authors. We have had 7 best-selling books, and we host child-friendly networking events in over 135 locations every single month around the world. So we wanted to provide female entrepreneurs with a comfortable environment to be able to share their business, connect with other people, and they're from startup to 7 figures. So when we have everybody in between, which is really amazing, because we wanted to provide an environment where people were included regardless of their background or business acumen or where they'd come from, race, all of that stuff. It was really important for us to provide that environment, and we did that within our Facebook community, and then we've done it outside of our Facebook community. So I feel very blessed to be surrounded by some of the most incredible female entrepreneurs, and the odd guy has snuck in here and there.
I've seen the odd man in there,
yeah, they're not supposed to be in there. They're kind of lingering around.
We need to get Steve in there. Steve in there.
I'm so out of my zone here. Yeah, you know what? Our group is mostly female as well. So every time I come on, I'm like odd man out. Yeah, I'm just used to it.
Just call him odd man. But I think that's so important, because in your group, like you say, everyone feels welcome. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do. Everyone is just there. They're all on the same side. Everyone's going through the same thing. And I think that's just so important to build your tribe like that. And you guys have done amazingly well in 2 years. That is outstanding. Really, really awesome.
It's been a little bit wild.
Yeah. I mean, I've followed you for quite some time, and I've seen your journey. And how you do it with 5 kids, I have no idea.
I'm not quite sure myself, to be honest.
Okay.
People do ask me, they're like, how do you cope with 5 children? And I suppose it's like anything, you just do. And if you've got a strong vision and a strong passion, then you just make it happen. And not every day do I wake up and I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to take over the world and I'm going to make lots happen today. But there are a lot of days when I do. I have bad days the same as everybody else, right? Because I'm human.
Exactly. And I think that's so important to realise that, because people think just because you are the leader in the group, that you've created a group and you're going out there doing these things, that you don't suffer from all those things. Oh my goodness, yes you do. Some days I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to face the camera. I don't want to go online. It happens to us all. And I think it's really good to just come over that. Yeah, we're all like that. We're all real. We all suffer from this. But was there like one action or something that actually triggered you And Estelle, isn't it, your sister that you
Yes.
started? Is there something that actually triggered you guys to think we need to do this? This has got to happen.
So there were a few things that happened over a period of time, and they led to a few conversations between myself and Estelle, and it was something that we talked about for longer than we actually just got on and did it. And so I was having a rough time personally, and I actually talk about it in my book. So we have a book coming out in September. I was going through a rough time. Estelle had just gone self-employed, and we were like, look, nobody is talking about the struggles of being a mum in business, and why don't we create that space? And really, we wanted to create that environment, and it was a few things that triggered us that led to us starting. And by month 3, we had 10,000 members, and we were like,
whoa, okay.
People want this group.
Yeah.
They wanted an environment. Yeah. And I think it's just because people were so used to, you guys have been in this for a long time. You've seen that there is so much airbrushing, shall we say, and I don't just mean on a physical aspect. I mean,
highlights the best parts of your lives, and
and I think that's okay. That works for some people, but so many people live their life just showing the highlights. It makes other people feel like they're not normal, and it's not normal to struggle with whatever they're struggling with. And actually, when you open up and you become almost an open book, it allows people to reach you on a whole nother level. And I think that's really, really important. Is that you're on their level, and it's not you and them. You are totally. And I have a guy that I work with, and I said to him, I want you to keep me on track. I don't want the stuff that we have, the success that we're having, and the stuff that's happening with us, and you're picking up the phone and you're on the phone to Dale Carnegie Company or a publishing company in Beverly Hills. That's great, but I want to make sure that I stay relatable. And that's really important for me. So it's something that I make sure that I work on a lot. But everybody's just normal. I worked in television for 7 years, and people put celebrities on a pedestal, and they expect them to be like godly, and they're human.
Yeah, exactly. I love your series you did last week about being real, and I could so relate to that. You said you went on a podcast in your pajamas. That's me. I did that this morning to our private group. I went in my PJ bottoms. I do that, and then I own it because I had to get up, and I said, I'm sorry if you just saw a bit of a flash of my pajama bottoms, but that's me this morning. And I think people can totally relate, because we all sit around in our pajamas sometimes because we're so blooming busy. We don't have time to do it.
Exactly. And I remember I spoke to a coach at the very beginning of MIBA. I spoke to a coach, and she said to me, oh no, I don't go live unless my nanny's in the house looking after my children.
Oh,
and
wow.
I come from a well-off family, but I was like, really? Not all of us are in the position to have a nanny. Not all of us want a nanny. That isn't relatable to a lot of people. And so you have to make sure that, if you have got a nanny, you own that, because there's nothing wrong with it, but also that other people can't necessarily relate to that.
No, exactly. And sometimes when you've got little kids, they do come. I mean, we've got grandkids, and if they're here and we're live and they happen to just come in, that's fine. That's what happens, it's just life.
I think it adds to the story, to be honest. I mean, the fact that you've got 5 children and you are still out building your business. I mean, there are a lot of people that they look at other people like yourself, inspirational people that are doing really well. And I know for a fact that a lot of the first things that go through their mind are, well, it's all right for them. They've got this success. They're doing really, really well. They don't have the problems I've got, because I have to look after the kids. I've got to get dinner on the table. I've got to do all this kind of real world stuff. And that's one of the hardest things I think people always seem to struggle with, that kind of, well, you can do it, but I can't do it. So the fact that you've done it, even though you've got family, you've obviously got an awful lot going on. And we know, we've had 3 girls, and now when the grandkid comes over, like, forget it, nothing gets done.
You've had it.
Dominates, absolutely.
No, yeah, just one of them.
So the fact that you're still doing everything you need to do, with the family,
and some,
yeah, I think it adds to the power of your story tremendously.
So for me, when I became a young mum, I was 18 when I had our first, and I did come from a well-off family, and I did feel like the black sheep of my family, and I almost felt like I got to prove something to people. And I'm not, that doesn't motivate me anymore, but it did for a long time. You know, when I went back to college, I got 3 A stars at A level. Then I went on to do a HND, and I came out of a distinction. I was very much like, I will prove people wrong. And actually, it's kind of a motivator, but it's not healthy. So now I do things for me. I do things for the benefit of my family, but I make sure that I focus on what is best for me, what is best for my family. And I think it's really, really important that you just focus on, you know, what you enjoy, what you love, what your passion is, what, you know, or your purpose work. Some people, they kind of squash that.
Realize having a bit of a...
And that...
I hope we haven't lost the connection. It's gone on squiffy at this end. I'm just going to check here. Has it gone squiffy, people?
Yeah, sorry, Leona, you're buffering quite badly. I don't know if it's the internet or Be Live itself. Just give it a second. Hopefully it will sort itself out.
If you can still hear us. Leona did say before she came on, it never agrees with her. Can you hear us okay? We were doing so well. Can you hear us, Leona?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. You're back. Back.
It's that Spanish internet.
Yeah.
Just in case everybody realises, you're in Spain, aren't you? We didn't actually explain that
at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, Leona's at her home in Spain at the moment.
So I am in Spain, and the internet is very much like Spanish people. They like to do it in their own time.
Yeah.
We know all about that.
Can testify to that.
A little siesta in the
maybe that's what it is. It's siesta time. The internet's just gone down over there. Yeah,
it could be.
It's really glitchy. I don't know whether it's. Can anybody else? Is anybody else hearing this, missing it, or hope everybody's getting this? Just waiting for some comments because we've got you really pixelated, Leona. I'm not sure if you can hear us, and the sound's gone a little bit.
I can hear you and see you fine.
Oh, okay, so you're back. Yay! It all froze, but you're back. Oh, awesome. So moving on, because a lot of us go through this. What do you reckon your #1 challenge has been during the past couple of years to get to where you are now, building your tribe and doing everything you do? What's been like the biggest thing you think has actually been your challenge?
I think my biggest challenge has been fear of judgment. Yeah. That's been a big one for me, and it's something that I've had to work on. So when I was in television, it's the very thing that held me back from going further into my television career.
Oh, no, really?
So I didn't want to allow it to squash what I love. So I just had to work on my confidence and trying to block out any negative and the bigger we've grown, the worse it's become, because obviously people, you know, you're loved more, but you're also hated more.
Oh yes, we know that.
And you're hated for all kinds of things. You think, really? Like that didn't even happen, or it didn't happen like that, or whatever it is. But so I think that has been a big learning curve for both of us. But we've got to the point where now it still stings. You know, when somebody takes a bash at your business, it's like your baby. And you know that you're building, you know, from the heart. That's all you can do. And you can't please everybody. You will never please everybody. And there will always be people that don't like successful people for whatever reason. It's obviously down to them. And I think that has probably been the hardest thing, is I've been called everything under the sun. And, you know, just learning to have a bit of a thicker skin has been really, really important.
It's really hard though, isn't it? I know when it first happened to us, I was mortified. I was really like knocked off my feet for a good week when it first happened. But like I say, as you go on, and now we've been in the game for quite some time, when it comes, I'm like, oh, whatever. just try your best.
It's like water off a duck's back. Exactly. I think that's it. The more it happens, the more you kind of get used to it. I mean, it is what it is now. And we've just employed somebody for HR and compliance, so she deals with all the haters now. I don't even have to deal with them.
Let somebody else do it. Yeah.
Do you not feel that? I don't want to call it like a rite of passage, but do you feel? I think that's something that most entrepreneurs kind of have to go through. The only way you get a thick skin really is by taking a few bullets, and
it's going to happen.
That's been our experience. The first time somebody does it, and we've been called all the names. We've been told how creepy we are and how we're weird, and we shouldn't be doing this sort of thing at our age. Heaven forbid.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we've got a lot of that. But yeah, I don't know how you toughen up from that, apart from actually going through it. And just kind of.
I think it is. I think it's just a lesson that you have to learn along the way, and there is no real shortcut to it. It's like success. Everybody wants it, but not everybody's prepared to put in the work. Yeah. And it's kind of, if you're prepared to just face it head on and deal with it the best you can in that situation. There are things that I would, if I could go back, I'd have dealt with things very differently. But I dealt with it how I could at the time, and you just get better and better at dealing with it. And now, I'm much more skilled in that area.
Yeah.
And you've got a HR person. Yes, bring it on. It's always nice to just hand it over. Go and deal with all that. Awesome.
Do you know what? I mean, I'll throw in a little tidbit of something that I learned. I know you said you have somebody to handle all the negativity and stuff like that. And you know what you were saying about celebrities, and you think that they're really, they're up there, they're so confident. It was something that I learned about. He's a celebrity marketer. I'm sure you know the guy, Russell Brunson. Mm-hmm. And I remember him saying something very similar about his business. When he would do webinars and he would sort of catch all the negative comments, it would crush him. He said he would absolutely be like just neutralized for a week. He couldn't do anything for at least a week. So now his team take care of that. They're like, no, don't worry about it, Russell. We'll deal with all the negativity. You just go out there and do your thing. He said, but I can't handle those comments. He said that they absolutely destroy me when I catch those comments coming in. So I don't think that it matters really at what level you play at. I think there's always that element of it, I think. But
and people are bored. I wish I had the time.
I know.
But the energy to your business, one thing I know that I, as I say, I've been following you for a while now, and I'm going to ask you what's been the highlight that you've had since starting your group. I know there must be loads, because you are like flying with your.
Apart from this interview,
obviously. I mean, the highlight.
Obviously, we'll take that off the table.
Just to make it easier.
I think that it's different for different things. So, the other day when we got an email from the Dale Carnegie Company,
that's like, whoa,
like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like a big one. And the same with our media. But there's that, and people writing to you, hundreds of people saying, you've saved my life, you've changed my life, you've changed the way I think. And you just think, I'm just being me. Like, how can I have saved your life? That's crazy. And people are like, oh, you don't understand. And that drives me. As much as I love the big things, they're amazing, and I'm not going to poo-poo them, but it's the little things. It's the people are really important to me, and I'm almost like a mama bear when it comes to my tribe.
I'm very protective.
Because they share with you, they share private things with you, and it's important that you want to take care of them, which is difficult when the tribe's so big as well.
When there's 50,000 of them. But I know what you mean. It's that protective force that you have around your tribe, and you do anything to protect your members and protect them from each other as well when it gets a bit nasty. But
that's the worst.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we've had all that. Our very first group was over about 30,000 members, and oh my goodness, the fights that used to kick off over the stupidest of things.
Yeah.
Like,
they know I just don't tolerate it. So I have like a 0 tolerance policy. If you're caught, you're out. That's it, you're out. Because I don't want to spend all day to and fro. And if you disagree on something, that's cool. Everybody disagrees in life at some point, but you don't need to go at it. It's just it's not beneficial. It's
just being cool, isn't it? It's just being cool and having a safe place. I know I don't want to keep you for too much longer because I know you are crazy busy, but I would love it if you could share your number one piece of advice that you could give our members for building their own tribe, or what's the best thing that you can offer them that you've
Can I add a little caveat to that? Just if you could throw it in there as well, what would you do differently if you had to start again? You know, great. We want your tips, obviously, but if you were doing this from scratch now, because I know a lot of the guys watching this are going to be doing that.
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself?
To be honest, I probably wouldn't do anything differently. And that is because I've learned so much along the way. I would definitely if you're starting a group afresh or you're starting to create your following, it's very important that you are completely real from the off. So I've seen a lot of people try and change their personality to suit their ideal client, and that gets a bit confusing and it's a bit weird.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. So I would understand yourself as much as possible first before you do anything, and then I'd really think about your vision and where you want to go. And you know, when somebody said to us, "What's the point of your group?" 2 years ago, it was just to empower and inspire other women. That we didn't have any kind of thought about monetizing the group or how that was what that was going to look like. We didn't. And I can hand on heart tell you that. So that wasn't the purpose of the group. Yes, have we made a lot of money from the group? Yeah, we have. And that's just because we've evolved. And, I'm very fast thinking, and Estelle's very practical. So I'm the crazy one, and I think of all the ideas pretty much. And then she's like, okay, so how are we going to make it work? So it works really, really well. I think it's really important that you understand who you are and what you want to achieve out of your group. Even if your vision changes, that's absolutely fine. But have a vision and a direction for your group. Set the rules from the off, because then people know when they come in what's expected of them, and how the group rolls. Because trying to control a chaotic group is not anybody's idea of fun.
No.
Tips, I would say, you've got to have tenacity. I don't care what business you're in, whether you want to be on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever you want to do. To have tenacity is really important, because there are going to be a lot of no's, especially when you start out. Estelle and I had a gazillion no's. Some people wouldn't even blog about us. They didn't know who we are. Now we're having to fight them at the door to to kind of have some order, because people are chasing us, where at the start they didn't have a clue who we were. We were just two crazy women. So I think to have that level of tenacity is really, really important. And put yourself out there. Have the balls and the courage to put yourself out there. If you have a strong enough vision, if you have a message to share, whatever that looks like to you, and you are totally 100% passionate about that vision and that message, you go do your thing. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or what anybody else says, or whether everybody thinks you've lost the plot. That's absolutely okay.
I love that. I love your passion in talking about that. I can just see you're really fired up about it.
It's amazing. That's awesome. It really is. But that's the thing. It is just, if anybody's listening, it's just go and do it. And I think a lot of people look at successful groups and think, oh, but I can't do that. You don't need to. You're never going to start out like that. You're going to start out small like you did. You weren't monetizing your group back then. You didn't have 4,000 members. You started with 2.
We all start people. With no one. Everybody.
So exactly. And that's the thing. And I think the clearer you are, the easier it becomes, because you know exactly how you're going to speak to people. You know exactly who you want to speak to. You know on what level you want them to be at. So it becomes so much easier.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Is
that your gardener?
No, this time it's my son. He's possibly doing it's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, so he's doing a barbecue.
Oh, isn't it good? Well, wish your daughter a happy 12th birthday. Have an amazing time. Seriously, we really appreciate you coming on. And
thank you for having me. I can't see anybody's comments, so if anybody's asking me questions, then
do you want to take a minute to go through any questions?
Have you got time, or do you?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Sure, I don't want to keep you if you've got stuff to do. But
if you,
no,
you've got
fine.
questions and I've missed them, throw them in. I'm going to try and go through them to see if we've got any. Post them in, and I will definitely come back to them. Oh, Jen says she loves your straight talking. Absolutely.
Thanks, Jen. Hey, Jen.
Carolyn says self-development is really key. I'm just seeing if there's any actual questions. Estelle says haters gonna hate. Oh yeah.
Haters gonna hate, baby.
They are. I tell you what I'll do.
If anybody has any questions afterwards, I can pop back in. I can answer anything in the comments anyway. Because often it's afterwards people go, "Oh, we should ask that."
Yeah, I think it's just comments of people saying they appreciate you.
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone's saying brilliant advice. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
You're so welcome.
Star today. It's brilliant. Thank you for kicking off our brand new tribe chat sessions as well.
Thank you for having me first.
It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
It's been great.
It's been really good. So go and enjoy your barbecue, enjoy your daughter's birthday, and we will catch up very soon.
I've got a long to-do list. Thanks, guys.
In that Spanish sunshine. You too. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, Leona.
Bye. Thanks for everyone for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.